Hello fellow creators, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well. So as you can see from the title of this video, it is how to sew this beautiful trouser. So I made a video on the sewing plans that I have for this month, and this is the sketch that I made for this trouser. And this trouser is supposed to have no waistband, double darts, tightly fitted at the hips, and front seam detailing, and I feel like I nailed all of it. So yeah, I'm going to leave timestamps down below so that if you're looking for anything in particular, then you can just go check that out. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Alright, so these are the materials you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need to cut out your pattern. So I have a tutorial on how to draw this pattern and I'm going to link it up there. So yeah, these are the tools, just your chalk, ruler and zipper. So you want to get an invisible zipper for this, and you want to get a zipper that matches with the fabric you're working with. And then I just went out to cut out two pieces for the front and then for the back, so you would see the one at the top is the back panel and then the one at the bottom is the front panel. So yeah, that's just what I did. I just cut out two pieces each, as you can see there, and yeah, that's just that for that. So let's just get on to actually putting these pieces together and making the beautiful trouser that we have there. So before you start doing anything, I would suggest that you go and overlock your the raw edges of the pieces. So you want to overlock the sides, but you want to leave the top and the bottom alone because we're still going to be working on those parts, so no need to overlock those ones just yet. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to get the front seam line. So in order for you to be able to get the front seam line, you first of all have to look at your fabric. If your fabric is a fabric that has the wrong side and the right side, like it's obvious that this is the wrong side and this is the right side, then there's no need for you to have to arrange it like you would see as I would do soon enough. But if your fabric is like it's obvious that it's wrong on the right side, all you just need to do is just make your markings on the wrong side. Okay, make your markings on the wrong side if you want the front seam detailing to be in the front, but if you want the front seam detailing to be in the on the inside and you just want it to have like a normal front seam, then I would suggest that you do it on the right side. Okay, so in order for us to be able to get the front seam, we have to first of all get the middle point of the trouser leg from the top to the bottom. So what we want to do in order to do that is that first of all you just want to go to the hem of the trouser like so, and then you want to measure it. So whatever measurement you get, you divide it by 2, and then once you divide it by 2, you're just going to mark that measurement that you got, which is the middle, and then you just want to get somewhere around like the middle measure, and then whatever measurement you get, you divide it by 2 like I'm doing here. Just divide it by 2, and then whatever measurement you get there, you just want to mark that measurement because that is the middle of the place that you are measuring. Do you understand? So yeah, that's just after that. And then you just want to go ahead to join those 2 points together with your ruler like so. So because we're going to be working with that for this, I don't want it to be the middle. I just want to use the dart line that we're going to use to just connect it with the other line that we created like so. Can you see? So no need to get the middle because the dart is already showing where you need to connect. So yeah, that's just after that. Just join the dart and the top of the dart to that other line like so, and yeah, you've gotten your middle for the pieces of the trouser. So you just want to go ahead and just mark out your dart. So you want to get another piece, and then you just want to use that piece to ensure that okay, is this the back panel or the front panel? So for the back panel is going to be lower. Okay, the back panel is going to be lower because that's the way we drafted the pattern. So as you can see, this was the one that was higher, so that means that is the front panel, and dart for front panels are usually 4 inches long. So you want to make sure that you don't mark from that part that is indicating the dart. Okay, that is just an extension. So as you can see, that's just the way we're going to fold it and just make our front seam. Okay, so now that you've done this for one panel, for the for one of the front panels, you want to make sure that you do the same thing for the other front panel. But as you can see, the way you arrange it matters. Okay, the way you arrange your pieces would matter because you want to make sure that we're making the front seam in the right direction. Okay, so in order for you to do that, you want to get that piece that you just marked the middle on, and then you want to arrange it in a way that the crotch part would be touching each other. Okay, that is the way you want to do it, so that you would know that okay, when you want to actually make your front seam, it would align properly. Or you just want to take the one that you already marked your middle measurement, and then you want to get the other front panel, and you want to make sure that the crotches of those two panels are touching each other, because that is the way that we'll be able to make sure that okay, we are sewing our front seam in the right direction. So yeah, that's just after that. So once you've gotten that and you've already arranged it properly, then you just want to do the exact same thing that you did for the other front panel. You want to get the middle of the hem, you want to get the middle of the trouser length, and then you also want to just connect those points together and then connect it to the dart like so. So this is for the back panel, and as you can see, I'm just doing the exact same thing. But when it comes to the dart length for the back panel, okay, the dart length is going to be 5 inches long rather than 4 inches long. Okay, so then after you're done with that, then you just want to fold the trouser piece like so. So you want to fold it into two, and then you want to make sure that the fold is going to be on the part where you've indicated as the middle. I hope that makes sense. So you just want to fold it in a way that when you fold it, the top of the fold is going to be showing that chalk marking, and that's just going to show you that okay, it's actually folded correctly and it's folded in the middle. So you just want to do this for the top and the bottom as well, and then you want to do it for all of the other pieces as well. So we're doing this in order for you to press it so that it will lay flat before you actually go ahead to sew the seam. Alright, so once you're done with that, you just want to do the exact same thing for the other pieces. You want to iron it down so that you know it's laying flat and you'll be able to make accurate seams. So once you're done with that, then the next thing you want to do before you actually go to your sewing machine to start sewing, you just want to mark out your darts. Okay, so you would see that dart extension where it starts from, as you can see, I'm just using my ruler to just connect it all the way to the length of the dart like we measured there. Can you see? So wherever that dart extension stops and where it just becomes like the normal top of the trouser, then you just want to connect that to that length, and that would give you your proper dart. Alright, so you just want to take it to your sewing machine and you just want to sew it, you know, following all the chalk markings that you've created. So you want to just, you know, try to arrange your lever in a way that would be going in the direction of the chalk markings that you've created, so that it will just be easier for you to just make a straight stitch that would follow the line, okay, the bent line. So yeah, that's just that for that. So you want to make sure that you backstitch, okay, backstitch your darts and then just sew. So once you're done, like once you get to the bottom of the dart, then you just want to backstitch again, and then once you do that, then you're just going to go ahead to start sewing the front seam. Okay, so with the front seam, you want to make sure that you sew as close as you can to the edge. Okay, you just want it to be a very small seam, not something that is going to like have any allowance or anything like that. Just want to sew it very, very close to the edge, if not at the edge. So this is just something that you can, you know, add just for, you know, I just like the way it looked on Zara pants, and I just decided to recreate it. So yeah, that's just that for that. So you just want to sew it and just take your time doing this, okay, because if you run the machine too fast, it's going to fall off the edge of the fabric. So you just want to take this this slowly and just, you know, sew it all the way down till you get to the bottom of the trouser piece, and then you just want to do the exact same thing for all of the other pieces as well. Alright, so this is what it should look like once you're done. This is what it should look like in the front, and then you want to turn it to the back. Okay, you want the back to be facing up, so that we'll be able to create the second dart detailing that we have in the trouser. So what you want to do is that you want to measure 1 inch from that dart seam, as you can see there, and then after you measure 1 inch from that point, okay, from the top of the trouser piece, you want to go down. So whichever length of dart that you have, you want to minus 1 inch from that. Okay, so as you can see, I had 5 inches for the dart, so I'm just going to just measure 4 inches for this second dart. Okay, so we don't want it to have, you know, the same length of dart, so that's why I'm just, you know, removing 1 inch from that. So then after you do that, you just want to connect the lines together like so, and then you just want to do the exact same thing for the other pieces as well. Okay, so once you're done with that, it should look like this. This is what it should look like from the outside, and this is what it should look like from the inside. So yeah, so now we're done with that. So the next thing for us to do now is to join the right side of the trouser together, which means that we're going to join one front panel and one back panel together. Okay, so this trouser had a side zip, so it had an invisible zipper on one side. So for the other side, we're not going to have to attach any zipper, so you just want to do that side first, and then you just want to join the back panel and front panel together at the side seams and also at the inner leg. So you know that the crotch for the back panel and the front panel are not the same, so you just want to make sure that you're sewing the crotch of both panels together. Okay, you want to make sure that you're pinning it together and sewing it together. Don't worry, even though there's still like that you know, allowance on like the back panel, that is to be expected, because as I've already explained in the pattern tutorial, that is just to, you know, create more space to accommodate our bum, because we have like projection more at the back panel rather than at the front panel. So yeah, that's just after that. So you just want to pin it down before you actually start sewing. And then for this one, you would want to leave 1/2 inch, but I noticed that my fabric had a lot of stretch, so while I was drafting the pattern, I left 1/2 inch of seam allowance, but when I was sewing it, I had to leave 1.5 inch of seam allowance so that it would be really tight on my body and I would, you know, have that snatch look that I was going for. So as you can see here, when I tried to measure it and, you know, measure it with my measurements as well, so you can see that it was showing that it was 1 inch that I had extra, so that means 1/2 inch on each side. So I measured 1/2 inch, but as I explained earlier, because it was a stretchy fabric, I wanted it to be really tight, and I just took more out of my measurements in order for it to be very tight. So for the crotch, I just did 1/2 inch. For the crotch, I only used 1 inch of seam allowance for the side seam. Okay, but for the crotch part, just do the normal measurements that you've used, which is your 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Just use the normal seam allowance that you added when you were drafting the pattern. Alright, so that's that for the other side. So now it's time for us to go ahead to sew the zipper on the other side of the trouser. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to get one of the panels, and then you just want to mark your waist measurement and your hip measurement on that panel. Okay, because that is what we're going to be using to indicate where we're going to join the zipper together. Okay, so as you can see from the top of the trouser, I'm just measuring my waist measurement. So as I told you before, I had to remove 1 inch. So I had to use 1 inch of seam allowance in order for me to be able to get that tight look that I was going for. And since it's like very stretchy, so my fabric was able to accommodate this. But if you're not working with stretchy fabric, then please don't do this. Just use normal seam allowance that you were using. So as you can see, I just marked my waist measurement, and then after that, I'm just going to go from the top of my waist measurement like so. I'm just going to measure my waist to my hip. So once I measure my waist to my hip, I'm just going to mark that there, and then I'm also going to measure my hip measurements on that same line there like so. So as you can see, I'm just measuring my waist and my hip measurements divided by 4. Then I'm just going to remove 1 inch again the way I did in them for the waist, and that would just enable the trouser to be tighter on my body. So after I did that, then I just went ahead to draw a straight line connecting those points together like so. And then you could do the exact same thing for the knee, for the hem of the trouser, but I just decided to just use my eye to just gauge it while I was sewing. So yeah, that's just after that. Then after that, what you want to do now is that you want to do the exact same thing for the other panel as well. So once you've done that for the 2 panels, then you just want to arrange those 2 panels together like so. So as you would see, I'm arranging the 2 panels with the side seams being together. Okay, and where the hip is, I'm arranging it together. So then after that, you want to take your invisible zipper, okay, and you want to open it up. So when you open it up, you would notice that the actual zipper thing is facing up. So you want to turn the zipper to the other side like so, and then once you turn it to the other side, you just want to align it with the line that you've created for your waist and your hip. But before you pin down your zipper, you want to ensure that there's enough space for you to be able to hem the top of your trouser, because we're not adding any waistband to this. So you just want to leave half an inch from the top of the trouser like so, and then wherever that half an inch mark is, then that's where you're going to start your zipper from. I hope that makes sense. So you just want to arrange the zipper again like so, and after you arrange it, you're just going to turn it to the left side, okay, and then you're going to pin it down. Then you're just going to pin it down at the bottom as well, and then you just want to make sure that you do the exact same thing for the other panel as well, but for this one we're going to be turning it to the right side rather than the left side. So once you're done with that, you just want to ensure that you arrange it properly. So so what you want to do is that you want to try to close the zipper, and if you close the zipper and you can see that it would be able to conceal the zipper, then that means that you arrange it properly, and then you can take it to your sewing machine to sew. So that is it. You just want to take it to your sewing machine and just sew it all the way down there like so, very close to the zipper teeth. I have a tutorial on how to sew an invisible zipper, a detailed one, so if you're looking for that, then you can just go check it out. I've already linked it up there. So as you can see, you just want to try to arrange your footer very close, make your needle very close to the zipper teeth. So I don't really have an invisible zipper footer yet, but if you have an invisible zipper footer, I would suggest that you use it, so that when you're using your zipper, the actual fabric of the zipper won't be showing and it would actually look like a real invisible zipper. But if you don't have that, that's still okay. As far as you're just using a zipper color that is very close to your fabric, then that is okay. And then after that, you're just going to do the exact same thing for the other panel as well. So once you've done that for both panels, what you want to do is that you just want to put the two panels with the right sides facing each other, and then once you do that, you're just going to sew those two panels together, okay? And then the way you're going to do that is that you would notice that when you put the two panels with the right sides facing each other, you would notice that there's a stitch that you can see there. That is where the stitch for the invisible zipper stops. So you want to make sure that you're starting from that stitch line like so. Can you see that? But before you start sewing, you want to make sure that you adjust it very well, and you want to make sure that you remove the zipper from the inside, okay, so that the zipper will be outside and it won't be disturbing you when you're trying to sew your seam. So then after that, you just want to sew all the way down till you get to the hem of the trouser, and then you just want to sew the crotch area like so. You want to sew it with half an inch of seam allowance, and then you just want to sew it from that top part to the bottom. So you want to join the two crotches at the same point together like we did for the other side of the leg. So when you want to join the two legs together, you're going to join two legs of the trouser with the right sides facing each other, okay? So as you can see, I just turned the other leg so that it would be the right side that is showing, and as you can see, I'm just going to align the two legs together with the right sides facing each other, and I'm going to align them at the crotch area like so. Can you see that? Okay, so then after you do that, then you just want to spread out the seams like so, so that it, you know, the seams would be going on either direction and it won't be just concentrated on one direction. And then you just want to pin it down. So then after you pin it down, then you're just going to pin down the center front of the trouser like so. So you just want to pin it down, make sure that it's right sides facing each other, okay? It has to be right sides facing each other. And once you're done with that, it's time for you to sew those two legs together so that you have your trouser. But while you're sewing it together, you want to ensure that you're starting from that crotch part, okay? You want to start from that crotch part, sew that side, and then sew the other side as well. So that would give you two seams on that crotch area, because you want that part to be strong. Make sure that that place is secure. So as you can see, I just joined the two pieces together like so, and I just joined them with half an inch of seam allowance. So here's just me doing another fitting. It was at this point that I realized that that the front seam was not really showing the way I wanted it to show. So I decided that I was going to actually like reinforce the front seam, as you would see. but just did that later on in the tutorial. But I really like how it turned out. The zipper was showing the brown piece, but it was still okay, sure. At least it was all right, like it still fit the fabric, so that's okay. So then so yeah, that's just that for that. I really like how it turned out. I like that there's no like annoying V shape or anything like that. So yeah, it's just for me to just hem the top, hem the bottom, and yeah, that's just that for that. Okay, so once you're done with that, the first thing that you want to do is that you want to hem the top of the trouser. But before you do that, you just want to snip all your loose threads and also all the dart extensions. So some dart extensions were still there, so you just want to snip them off like so. And then for the zipper, you want to make sure that when you overlock the top of the trouser, you are overlocking the top of the trouser with the fold indicating the zipper. Okay, so you want to fold the fabric over the zipper so that when you turn it over, the zipper is not going to be showing. Do you understand? So you just want to fold it and then you just want to pin it down so that when you overlock that edge and when you want to turn it over, the zipper is not going to be showing. So as you can see, I'm just doing the exact same thing for the other zipper part as well, because you want to make sure that you do this so that when you turn it over like that, it's going to be only the fabric that is showing. But if you don't take the step to do this and just fold it over the zipper, then you would notice that when you want to turn, like when you are wearing your trouser, the zipper is going to be showing really obviously. So you just want to make sure that you fold the fabric over the zipper teeth and then you just pin it down like so, and then you're just going to overlock the top of the trouser like so that you would be able to fold it over and it would give you a neat finishing. So once you're done with that, it should look like this. And then after that, the next thing to do is to hem the top of the trouser like so. So when you want to hem the top of the trouser, you want to ensure that when you want to fold that zipper part, you want to make sure that you're folding it on that part that has this white thing, because that is where the zipper starts. Okay, so you just want to fold it like so, and then you just want to make sure that the top of the fold is starting at where that white thing is showing, and then you just want to fold the rest of the trouser top like so. You just want to fold it and then just pin it down so that it's there and you already secured it. And then you just want to do the exact same thing for the other zipper side as well. So as you can see, I had already gone to hem it and this is what it was looking like. So as you can see, because we let the top of the fabric stop at the zipper, at that zipper teeth, at that white part, so as you can see, the zipper looks really nice, and that is just what would make you to be able to achieve this look of the trouser. So yeah, that's just that for that. And then I went ahead to hem the bottom of the trouser, and that is that for the trouser. But for the front seam detailing that we had, I noticed that it was just giving front seam, but I wanted it to have a little bit of projection. So what I just did, as you would see, is that I just ironed that front seam side, and then I just went ahead to just make that small seam that I did for like the back of the trouser. I just made that small seam and just sewed at the edge of that seam so that it would give that projection. And yeah, this is the final result. I really like it, and it was exactly what I wanted. It had all the features that I wanted, and yeah, that is that for this trouser tutorial. Alright, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope it was easy for you to follow. If you have any questions regarding anything, then you can just leave a comment down below, and also make sure that you subscribe if you're not already, and also make sure that you turn on your notification bell so that you get notified anytime I post a new video. And yeah, I have a catalog on different categories that you could get inspired by, so just go check that out on my profile. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.